So you've probably just picked up a brand new computer or laptop and you're thinking, well, is there any sort of specific way which I should set this up, or is there any tips or tricks which you can give me when I'm setting up my device? Now, as we all know, as Windows gets on, there's a lot of customization, software installed, pre-installed software, privacy settings, all sorts of different things which you can have a look in Windows. So I'm going to be covering a lot of the sort of things and recommendations which I personally do myself when I'm setting up clients' computers or even my own. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on what you can do to also improve some of your features and sort of the experience with Windows as well. Now, this is probably going to be quite a lengthy video because I'm going to divide it into chapters. So there's going to be different sections. I'm going to be starting from the very start of when you first do install or even open up a laptop that already has Windows 11 installed. Now, as you guys know, Windows 11 is now the standard operating system as of 2024. This will change in the future as time goes on, but at the moment, at the time of this recording, it is Windows 11. The only difference is that I'm going to be doing this through a virtual machine. I haven't got a laptop or a computer to demonstrate today's video from. But don't worry, it's going to be exactly the same. The only difference is it's not going to have the manufacturer's pre-installed software. So if you've maybe purchased a laptop from HP, Lenovo, or any of these other manufacturers, they normally install a lot of their own software. But again, I won't have this because I've just got an ISO image directly from Microsoft themselves. But again, I'll try and run through on how you can find that software later in the video. So if you want to skip ahead, guys, if you've already set up the device, or even if you've already done this setup screen, please skip ahead. There'll be chapters again in the bottom of the video. And if there is anything to download again, I'll also put some links in the bottom as well. Okay, so you're now at the Windows 11 setup menu. So there is two ways to set up a Windows 11 computer. So you can either set up with a Microsoft account or as a local account. Now, I'm not going to explain exactly what benefits it fully gives you if you set up with a Microsoft account, but if you're asking for my recommendation, I would recommend setting up with a local account. If you do set up as a Microsoft account, it just gives you, it's a lot of privacy concerns, and sort of it gives you some extra Microsoft benefits. It will sign to your service automatically. There's a load of sort of different pros and cons with it, but again, if you just go do a quick Google search, you'll see what the benefits of having a Microsoft account linked to Windows is. But if you don't want that, again, then you can set up as a local account. Now, I just wanted to quickly jump into here and just quickly say that I have actually already got a video on how to skip the Microsoft account creation process. If you haven't seen that already, please do check out the links down in the description box below, and you'll be able to quickly find out the three ways that I've created on how you can skip this process. Anyway, back to the video. So what I would do, guys, so as soon as you switch on your device, it's going to ask you straight away which country or region you're in. The very first thing which I do is if I hold down the Shift key and press F10, you'll see that straight away it will then come up with a command box window. So first of all, what I do, very first thing, is I type in the command which is OOBE, which means out of box experience, and then /bypass NRO, and then hit enter, and then straight away your laptop or computer will just do a quick reboot. So we're back once this restarts. So before we actually begin setting up Windows 11 and running through this setup screen, I'm going to suggest that if you have got a computer or a laptop and it is connected via Ethernet cable, if you're not looking to set up with a Microsoft account, which I'm not going to be doing during this video, make sure that is disconnected after you've just selected the, or after you've just entered the OOBE /bypass NRO command. So I've just now made sure that is disconnected in that virtual machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit next on this United Kingdom after selecting our country. And then the next step even is going to ask us about what our keyboard layout is. So I'm going to also again select United Kingdom because I'm from the UK. And it's going to ask us if we want to add a second keyboard layout. I'm going to skip that because we don't need that. Now, usually at this point, or just after that, if you was connected to the internet, it would check for updates, but because we're disconnected, it's not going to check for updates. And also, it wouldn't bring you to this screen here if you were connected, so skip the Microsoft account process. So I'm going to select on down here, it says I don't have internet, which again, you'll probably might have seen this before in one of my previous videos. And it's going to ask you again to continue if you want to either connect now or continue with limited setup. Make sure you do continue with limited setup and don't connect to any Wi-Fi networks at this point. Next it's going to ask you is who's going to use this device. So again, I'm just going to put my name, which will be Matthew. So just do that. So this is purely for the account. And again, you can set a password if you want, but I'm not going to set a password today. So if you haven't got one, just click next. Now this is going to be the usual sort of Microsoft crap that it's going to ask you where if you want to actually, basically you want Microsoft apps to see your location. Again, I always select no to these because I just don't want Microsoft doing it. Even though they are partially still going to be selected, there is tools out there to stop them fully tracking you, but we're not going to cover that in today's video. So I'm just going to select no to this one. Just keep clicking no, no to that one. Diagnostic data to Microsoft, required only. Again, you can't fully disable it. I don't know why I don't allow that, but Microsoft, what can we do? No to that one, no to this one. Keep clicking no, and then keep clicking accept. And that's it. So what it's now going to do is it's just going to quickly do a quick reboot, and then it's just going to set up the Windows so and do all its setup in the background, and in a moment we'll be presented at the desktop. So I'll come back once we're there. Okay, so now that our device is now restarted, we are now sat at the Windows 11 desktop experience. So what we can now do, guys, is we can now proceed to set everything else up and sort of run through what else I suggest doing. So the very first thing which I actually do once I've installed Windows 11 is I actually change the power settings, because believe it or not, Windows actually, well, it's a good thing. Windows tries to be environmentally friendly. But you will notice that maybe if you've got a high-spec processor, it might not be operating or being as quick as it should be. So the first thing which I usually do, guys, is I go down to the Start menu, and then I will just type into the search at the top, and I will just type in Control, and that will then take us into the Control panel when you select that option there. And then what I do then is in the top right, it will say View By, and it will say Category. You click on this and then just change that to small or large icons, whatever you prefer. I usually just do small icons. And then you'll see right in the middle, you've got power options. If you select on power options, and then just under here where it says show additional plans, you'll select this and then select it to high performance. What that'll do, again, it will stop Windows from limiting how fast the processor can actually operate. So you will notice a little bit of a performance increase there, and it now will run at its full potential. But that is the very first thing I suggest doing in order to get Windows completely up to speed on what you should be doing. Now the next thing which I usually do after doing that is I would then make sure that let's say you just bought a laptop from eBay, or even if it's a second-hand laptop, and you want to make sure that it is the specs that you've paid for. That's the next thing which you also need to make sure. So if you go into the Start menu again and then just go to Settings, it might be there, or if not, you can also just type in Settings again in the search box and it will come up like this. Just go into the Settings menu and you'll go into System right here. And then as you scroll down on the right hand side, you'll then see the About at the very bottom. So select on the About, and then straight away you can start seeing here. So it's got a Ryzen 9 processor, which is my desktop PC, and I've only allocated 8 gigs of RAM, but as you can see I've got 8 gigs of RAM there. So just make sure that the technical specs do match exactly what you've purchased. Otherwise, if they don't, you'll have to go back to that vendor and then obviously complain or get some money back, whatever you're going to do. But just make sure that those specs do match exactly what you've paid for. Now the next thing which I did say at the start of the video is that manufacturers pre-install a lot of software, also known as bloatware. Bloatware is very annoying. It's software that comes, as I said, pre-installed with the operating system. You can uninstall it, and again I'm going to show you a way on how to uninstall that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the Start menu, but down at the bottom again, and we're just going to go back into that famous Settings menu. Oh, again, you can search it whichever way you prefer. And then on the left hand side you'll see right here it says Apps. So if we select on Apps right there, and then you've got Apps and Features at the very top, just select on that. And then what you'll do is you'll notice right down here is all of the apps that have come installed with Windows 11. Now, a lot of it, as I said, it is so I don't have a lot of the manufacturer's pre-installed software because I'm just using a clean ISO or Windows install image from Microsoft. But if you've purchased a laptop from HP, Lenovo, Dell, any of those big vendors, then again, you will see a lot of their software installed. So what you want to do is you want to just sort of go down the list. So again, there's a lot of apps as well in Windows 11, which I bloody hate. It's just annoying and they're pointless, but they're there. It is what we can't really help it. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually uninstall them. So as you go down the list, on the right hand side here, you've got these 3 little dots. Just select on these dots here. So this one you can't uninstall, some of them you can, and some of them you can't. So for example, if you don't want the calculator, that can be uninstalled. So it's going to click on uninstall right there, then uninstall again. And then bam, there we go, it's gone. Then next, obviously, you've got a camera if you want to take like selfies and stuff. But again, some of them you can, some of them you can't. So we're just going to go down. As I said, some of them are built into Windows, so you just can't remove them. So Feedback Hub, again, I wouldn't want that for my clients, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Films and TV, we won't use that because Windows actually has a built-in media player anyway. You've got Get Help, you can't get rid of that one, unfortunately. Groove Music, not going to use that. You've also got Mail and Calendar, but if you're planning on installing Microsoft Office, so you get Microsoft Outlook, again, you're not going to use that, and I would suggest getting rid of that. Otherwise, your clients or yourself might get a little bit confused when you're trying to search for the Mail app. So I'm just going to click on that. Again, uninstall that and get rid of that. We don't need that. Maps, won't be using that, but again, we can't get rid of that one, unfortunately. Microsoft Edge you cannot remove. That is built into Windows. There is applications which you can also download, but I'm not going to cover in this video, which actually allows you to uninstall this software, but I really wouldn't suggest it because I've tried uninstalling Microsoft Edge in the past and it completely broke Windows. It just doesn't really run very well and it causes a lot of problems. So I would just leave it there. Just set another browser as your default, which I'll get to in a moment. So we're going to scroll down again, just going to get rid of more stuff here. So we've got Microsoft News, OneDrive, not going to plan on using that. Solitaire, don't really, oh, there we go, so that's the Microsoft OneDrive, yes, I want to get rid of that. Microsoft Solitaire, got to uninstall this as well. Microsoft Store, I'm going to keep that there because a lot of the apps, if you do need to download some applications, it's worth just keeping that there, so I'm going to leave that there. Microsoft To Do, not planning on using that at all. Microsoft Office, this isn't the full version of Office, this will probably just be a trial, so I'm going to get rid of that because we can get that in later in the video. And again, you've got all these other apps here as well, like Paint, People, Photos, etc. So, as I say, so just go down the list, uninstall the software that you don't need. So now that we've uninstalled a lot of the bloatware in Windows 11, the next sort of process which I would do is I would then start to install some software. So this is freeware which you can get online from one of the websites I'm going to recommend, which is very easy to do. So you're going to start off by just jumping into Microsoft Edge, which at the moment is the only application on the desktop, or you can use Internet Explorer if you want to, but I don't think it does suggest it. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go to a website here called ninite.com, or I don't know how you say it, it's either Ninite or Night, some people call it Ninite, I just call it Ninite, so ninite.com. And as you can see here, if you scroll down, it gives you the sort of list of applications, basic applications and freeware to install. It's fantastic. It makes it very easy if you want to install a load of applications in one hit. So I'm just going to install on this machine here. So I'd usually install Firefox because Firefox is a very good browser, especially for privacy concerns. You've got some apps here as well. Maybe your client might need Zoom or yourself even. Discord, again, but I'm not going to install that today. As you can scroll down, so you've got all these runtimes as well. By default, I usually install .NET 48, just because, again, some applications do require that as standard to run and operate properly. And as we scroll down again, we've got WinRAR. Again, I usually install that. Maybe TeamViewer if they might need some support. At least then they can quickly access that. And then you've also got some PDF readers here. So I would usually install Foxit Reader. And what other ones would I install? I think that's probably it. So just for the basics. But you've also got security in the middle. So this is antivirus. If you want the very basic Microsoft Essentials, again, that's very good. Windows 11 does have Microsoft Defender built into it, which is very good just for sort of average protection. But if I had to recommend a antivirus out of all these, my go-to choice would be Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is fantastic. It's very lightweight and it just runs in the background of your machine. But again, be sure to also go check out their website. You can also get some discounts if you go onto their website directly. But again, if you don't want to pay for Malwarebytes, they do offer a 14-day trial. And if you install it from here, again, you'll get 14 days to try their software out. But as far as I know of Malwarebytes, the only difference is if you don't pay for it, I think it just allows you to run the scans periodically yourself, whereas it doesn't just run in the background like a normal antivirus would. So I would probably suggest purchasing a license if you did want Malwarebytes. So again, I'm just going to scroll down here, and then once you've selected your applications, just go to Get Your Ninite or Nanite, however you're going to say it. And then what that'll do is that'll then just quickly download a quick installer file. So what we're going to do is just going to go up here, click on that file, and then we'll just let Ninite do its thing. And then again, this window will ask you to make changes, so I'm just going to select yes to that. And there we go. So that would then run through and install the applications there. So now we're going to proceed on to the next part of the video, guys. So So the next thing I also recommend doing is you might want to install some browser extensions which will actually protect you online and also prevent adverts and similar things like that if you want those features built in whilst you're browsing the web. So I'm going to jump into Firefox, which is the browser which I do recommend. It's very, very good and very lightweight. So if we just jump into Firefox here for the first time, as I've just installed it using that Ninite software. Again, it's going to ask you if you want to set that as a default browser to replace Microsoft Edge. I'm going to set that as a default browser because I do prefer Firefox. It's just much better than Edge. Because as we all know, Edge is owned by Microsoft, and Edge is now actually just Google Chrome, but sort of got a different face to it. So again, I would just suggest using Firefox. But what we do, guys, is going to just quickly do a quick Google search. Going to type in, I normally just type in Firefox extensions, and again, I'll put the link in the description to their website if you just want to go straight to it in the description box down below. And then when you go to extensions, just click on this one here. And then straight away, what I would have a look for is there is one here called Privacy and Security. So these are going to be some of the extensions I recommend, which I personally use myself, and they're very good. So the first one here, as you can see, is uBlock Origin. uBlock Origin is fantastic. It blocks a lot of adverts and sort of sites that try to track you, etc. So I'm going to click on that and add that to Firefox. So just going to click Add in the top right here, and then as you can see, it is now running in our browser. So that will always be running now when we're using when we're browsing websites, etc. And if you do obviously want to turn it off and on for specific sites, you can just click on this little button here. It looks like a power icon. Just turn that off and on. And if we just go back to the previous page, scrolling down this list here, the next thing I would look at again is Privacy Badger. Privacy Badger is very good as well. It stops trackers from sort of tracking your sort of browsing history and sort of seeing what you're doing online. A lot of websites do implement a lot of tracking tools to see what you're up to, obviously to gain data on you, but you might not want that, or you might want to be limited to what they can see. So I usually add Privacy Badger as well. It's very good. Sometimes it can break websites, so if you do start having issues with some of the common sites that you use, you may want to remove that from your device. And then just going back again, just scrolling down, Bitwarden would be one I'd use. So Bitwarden's a very good password manager if you want to use that. I used to use LastPass, but I no longer use them because they did get hacked or breached even quite a few months ago, which just put me off using them. So I then swapped over to Bitwarden. So that's also who I'd also recommend for a password manager. But that's what I would suggest for the browser extensions. Again, it's up to you. You can have a look through the whole Firefox store to see what extensions they've got. They've got loads of different extensions doing different things, but just always make sure that you do install it purely from the Mozilla site, or if you are using Google Chrome, make sure you install it from the Chrome extension store. I would never install extensions from anywhere but the store, just to make sure they are legit and the official version of what the manufacturers or the developer has created. So the very last thing which I would do in Windows 11 is I would go through settings and have a look in and sort of disable a few things in Windows that you may not want to be enabled, or you might want to actually customize. So what we would do is, if we just go down to the Start menu again at the bottom and then go into the famous Settings menu. On the left hand side, you'll have down at the bottom saying Privacy and Security. So it's going to select this. Now, there would be an option here to encrypt your device using, it's also known as BitLocker. Now, I don't have that because I haven't got that enabled in this virtual machine, but if you have got access to enable that and that option does appear at the top, make sure you do select into there and then enable that. But unfortunately, I can't show that today because I haven't got that enabled on my VM. But if you scroll down here, you'll see there's a lot of settings here to customize. So if you go into this one, for example, General, you can change if you want Windows to improve start and search results by tracking app launches. Again, you wouldn't really want that on. Let websites show me relevant content. So again, that's more tracking stuff. I'm going to turn that off. So generally, I would spend, it's going to take probably about half an hour of your time to go fully through all these, because there is quite a lot of options, even going down here, and just go through everything and make sure that you've got it set to your own preference. Usually I have the majority of this stuff turned off, but again, depending on what type of work that you do, or sort of how you want Windows to be set up, you might want specific things to be turned on and then some other things to be turned off. But usually, as myself, I would leave the majority of things here turned off, just to sort of prevent Windows from spying and see what I'm doing. But that's it, guys. So it's a very, very basic video on how to get you set up. If there is any other questions which you have, or if there's something which I might have missed, again, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I do always read them, and I do always try to get back to you guys as much as I can. But hopefully this video has helped, guys. Please smash that like button if it's helped, and of course please also hit that subscribe button, as it really helps me, and I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now at the time of this video, so I'm hoping I can get that record very shortly. But hopefully that's all helped. But if there's anything else, guys, again, just leave me a comment in the comment box down below. I'm happy to help. Thanks again, guys. Take care for now. All the best.